Society is utterly obsessed with generational warfare. We endlessly dissect the entitled idealism of millennials, the digital anxieties of Gen Z, and the stubborn traditionalism of baby boomers. Yet, in this loud, crowded room of cultural debate, there is a massive, silent void. We completely ignore the middle child of history, Generation X. They're your older co-workers who never complain about the workload, quietly fixing the disasters everyone else leaves behind. They're the adults who just get things done, clock out, and disappear without needing a trophy or a viral post to validate their existence. But their silence is not an absence of depth. The truth? Their psychology is fundamentally misunderstood by everyone else. Today, they are the sandwich generation, crushed between caring for aging parents and raising their own kids, operating on a highly complex, fiercely guarded psychological framework that modern society has entirely failed to decode. To understand the architecture of the Gen X mind, you have to return to the empty, quiet houses of the 1970s and 1980s. Picture the quintessential latchkey experience. You're 10 years old, walking home alone. You let yourself in with a house key worn on a shoelace around your neck. The house is completely dark. You heat up a frozen TV dinner, do your homework unprompted, and roam the neighborhood completely unsupervised. There is only one strict, non-negotiable rule: be home when the streetlights come on. This wasn't neglect by the standards of the era, it was the reality of a shifting societal landscape. During the late 70s and early 80s, divorce rates hit an all-time historical peak, coupled with a massive surge in dual-income households. The adults were either at work or navigating their own fractured lives. The kids were left to figure it out. The primary psychological imprint this drilled into their developing brains was radical self-reliance. When you are entirely responsible for your own afternoon, you learn very quickly that the cavalry isn't coming. If you fell out of a tree, you dusted yourself off and limped home. This crucible forged a worldview where actions had immediate, real-time consequences. Independence wasn't a choice, it was the fundamental requirement of existence. Growing up, society fed Generation X the exact same post-war promises it fed their parents. Work hard, trust the institutions, and you will be guaranteed a stable life. But society profoundly betrayed them. They watched those institutions crumble in real time. To survive this chronic disillusionment, they developed a distinct psychological armor known clinically as defensive pessimism. This isn't just casual negativity, it is a highly functional cognitive strategy. By anticipating failure or betrayal, they neutralize the emotional shock when it actually happens. If the world is inherently unreliable, expecting the worst is a mechanism for maintaining control. Today, this past trauma manifests clearly in their modern behavior. It's why they wield irony and sarcasm as a universal shield. It's also why their relationship with the digital world is defined by a fierce valuation of privacy. Unlike younger generations who commodify their lives on social media, Gen X views oversharing as a vulnerability. They are the lurkers watching, reading, but rarely posting. They learned early that exposure leads to risk. When Gen X first entered the adult economy, it was harsh and unforgiving. Their early grind wasn't characterized by ping-pong tables or work-life balance. They entered a workforce reeling from a recession, where slacker was the media's favorite label for them. Because of this, their approach to the modern workplace operates on a strict rule of competence over loyalty. They inherently distrust authority figures. A fancy title means absolutely nothing to them. They respect the person who can actually do the job, fix the broken server, or de-escalate a crisis without panicking. If a manager tries to inspire them by calling the company a family, Gen X's internal alarm bells ring deafeningly loud. This transactional view was hardened by repeated economic trauma. Just as they established their careers, the dot-com bubble vaporized their investments. Just as they bought homes, the 2008 crash wiped out their equity. They don't hustle for Instagram flexes, they grind for the ultimate luxury of security because they know exactly how quickly the bottom can fall out. To truly see Generation X is to understand a sympathetic paradox. They are the most fiercely independent, emotionally guarded demographic alive, yet they are quietly the most reliable when a crisis hits. They are the cynics who will relentlessly mock a chaotic situation, but they'll be the first ones to roll up their sleeves and fix it. But this stoicism has a profound shadow side, a silent burnout. They are the ultimate sandwich generation. Because they were conditioned to believe that asking for help is a sign of weakness, they internalize their struggles. They carry the immense weight of caring for aging, ailing parents while simultaneously supporting their children, absorbing the stress of both generations without ever pausing to admit they are drowning. Furthermore, they straddle the tangible and digital worlds. They remember the deep encoding of knowledge that came from physical friction, researching in a physical library, fixing a bike chain with their own hands. When they look at today's instant gratification world, they feel a profound alienation. They appreciate the convenience, but they mourn the loss of resilience that comes from having to struggle. Look closely at how this generation parents, the feral, unsupervised latchkey kids of the 1980s, grew up to become the ultimate helicopter parents of the 2000s. Driven by the trauma of their own early abandonment, they meticulously curated their children's lives, determined to ensure their kids never felt the profound emptiness of a dark house after school. If there is a defining metaphor for Generation X, it is the bridge generation. They are the sturdy, unglamorous, load-bearing infrastructure connecting two entirely different eras of human history. They stand with one foot planted in the analog dirt of the past and the other stepping cautiously into the digital ether of the future. They translate the old world to the new world, absorbing the structural stress from both sides so the bridge doesn't collapse. It is time we offer them a final, overdue validation. Their cynicism is not a character flaw, it is a battle scar. Their quiet, heads-down approach to life is an incredible expression of endurance. If this hit home for you, if you watched this and felt a sudden, strange sense of being seen for the first time in a long time, you are not alone. It is exhausting being the strong one, the cynical one, the one who just handles it without ever asking for applause. But there is a massive, quiet army of people out there who operate on your exact frequency. People who understand the sanctuary of a locked door and the exact value of a broken promise. I want to hear your story. Head down to the comments right now and let me know. What was the ultimate latchkey moment that defined your childhood? Or how are you handling the pressure of the sandwich generation right now? Share your experience, because your perspective is the grounded reality check this world desperately needs. If you want more deep dives into the hidden psychology of our culture, hit that subscribe button. We don't do superficial fluff here, we do the real, unapologetic work of understanding human behavior. Subscribe, leave your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next deep dive.